Hello, friends. So this is our second demo that we're doing together on our 14-day plant-based challenge. So I'll try not to say throughout this whole thing. What we're going to do today is we're going to demo the cashew cheese for you because we all love cheese, right? We can all agree that we love cheese. Having a plant-based alternative it's a great option, and it's so versatile. So what we're going to do is show you how you can make cheese with these lovely little raw beauties here. Cashews full of magnesium, potassium, and a slew of other nutrients. They're incredibly good for you. They're high in protein. They're creamy. When you soak them and then you put them through the food processor, they get this creamy, almost cheesy-like texture. Very easy to make this into a cheese. So what I did is that I soaked 2 cups of these. Now you can do more, you can do less. I'm going to give you the 1 cup recipe for this. But I soaked 2 cups and I reserved some of the liquid from the cashew soak because you want it to have the right viscosity. You may want a thicker texture. May want a little bit of a thinner texture, but you're going to want it to be the way you want it. So save some of that liquid, and then I'll show you at the end we can add in, a few tablespoons at a time to get it the way you want it. So we're going to do this really easily. You're going to see how simple this is. We are using nutritional yeast, apple cider vinegar. I'm using dill today. You could do whatever you want. You could use smoked paprika and give it a nice smoky, almost Gouda-like flavor. You could do just garlic. I am doing garlic because I have garlic in everything. I'm using the apple cider vinegar right here. This is Trader Joe brand, but whatever you want to use. This is raw, unfiltered with the mother. You want the mother. And just some salt. And so this is a really simple base. So you could make this in different ways. You could make this with about 1/4 cup of vegetable stock or unflavored plant-based milk, almond milk or a soy milk, but no flavor in it, and make it into more of a sauce for like a pasta. And you could even throw in 1/2 cup or 1/3 of a cup of cooked butternut squash into this for like a mac and cheese kind of mimic. And you could throw that over pasta. So this is your base. Okay, so let's start. Let's do a quick run through on this. I'm doing a cup to start. I could make 2 cups. I could double the recipe probably. Yeah, I could. Let's double it. Let's be crazy. Double it. More cheese, better. I'm going to do 2 cups. So I soaked the cashews in these. So these are raw cashews. I have a bunch of these jars. They're convenient. They're glass. I like using glass better than plastic. That's another show, but and I just filled it with water and I let it sit overnight. But probably about 3 hours is the mark. You can that will make them okay if you don't really have the time to wait overnight. But that's what we're going to do. I'm adding our nutritional yeast loaded in B vitamins. It's really great on a plant-based diet, or even if you're not fully plant-based, but you want some more B vitamins, protein, fiber. It has it's an acquired taste. So you don't have to use this. And I would say in the beginning, don't go so liberal with it. Just use a little bit of time, see what you think of it. I like the flavor. It has that cheesy kind of, that punch. So I'm going to add a tablespoon. You can add more if you want. Apple cider vinegar right here, 2 tablespoons. Okay, I'm adding some dill. Just throwing some dill in here. This is like a 1/4 cup of dill I have here. And it smells so good. I love dill. I love dill in this. You can make like a soft kind of smooth dip, like almost like one of these cream cheese based dips. That's kind of like what we're going for here. I'm putting garlic in here. The dill and garlic. Love it, love it, love it. Little bit of salt. I'm using kosher salt, but you could use whatever you want in this. You could do the Himalayan sea salt. I use that in a lot of recipes too. So now at this point, I'm going to blend it up. I'm going to take this little cap off because if I feel like it's stuck, like it makes that weird noise that it made last time, I'm going to add some of the soaking liquid. You can add some more vinegar too if you taste it and you feel like it needs a little bit more of a punch. Spitting out cashews. Slowing down, I'm going to add a little bit. Just a little bit of the soaking liquid. It's probably about 2 tablespoons of the soaking liquid. Oh, hello. Love it. I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to scrape the sides of the bowl. Sides of the bowl, not bowls. There we go. Ooh, so it's like a really creamy, this texture right now is a real, oh my God, it's so delicious. It's a really lovely, creamy texture. I'm going to give it a little taste because I want to see if it's enough of everything because I used 2 cups instead of 1 cup. And there's some of the dill needs to still be combined. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a, I don't have a tasting spoon. I'll use this spoon here. Just not using anything else. Oh my God, it's so good. It doesn't need any more vinegar. Doesn't need any more anything. I'm just going to give it another swirl. I do want it to be a little bit more moist. It's just how you're making this the way you want to make it. I don't want it to be a sauce. Just want it to be a little bit thinner. I'm going to just give it another round. Okay. We've got cheese. No cows were hurt in this experiment. Okay. There's just this, you can make this different. As I was saying, you can make this a little thinner if you wanted, but this, I love this texture. I love, love, love. This is like if you've, like those cream cheese dips, like those Alouettes and, those are like $6 for a little package in a store. And you put it out when company comes and you put your little crackers out. I mean, hello, you don't even need to do that anymore. Look how fast that was. This is so delicious. It's got a dill. It's got like a dill, garlic, little bit of a vinegar, like a bite from the vinegar flavor, but it tastes like a cheese. And you have this beautiful cheese now, plant-based cheese that you can serve to people or you can serve to yourself. Not all about the other people. It's not all about the company, right? Even though I love to host company. But you take this little bit, you put a little knife in it, and you take your little cracker, and you can add some peppers or tomatoes on the side. I mean, it's just so delicious. You don't even miss the cheese in your life. And it's plant-based. It's full of nutrients. Use this as a base. Make different things in it. You throw a pepper in it, throw some roasted peppers. You can make it your own, different flavors. If you wanted to put basil in it, if you want to put some pine nuts just to give it a different kick. It really is a way for you to have some fun and be creative and, make different iterations of this. Couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. So good. Okay. Next recipe. Okay, so as I try to pick cashews out of my teeth here. So good. Okay, next sauce. We wanted to do something that was like a dressing, right? Or something that you could use over vegetables, and that would make them more delicious, right? Give them a punch of flavor. Yes, you could get dressings in the grocery store. We've discussed that. There's a lot of different ingredients in dressings, depending, some are better than others, but usually most of them are laden with sugar, salt, and preservatives, right? So I like to make a few simple sauces. I keep them in my fridge all the time. I use them for vegetables. I use them for lots of different recipes. This is a really good base. It's called a chimichurri. It's a punch of flavor in whatever you put it in, and I just love it. I love keeping it in my fridge, and it's super simple. And that's the key here. We want super simple, and fresh. So we have parsley. Okay, I have a quarter cup of parsley, and by the way, I'm just using my cute little bullet. Put the big guy away. Now we've got the little bullet. Why? Because I want to show you that you can really make any of these things in a little bullet like this. A smaller food processor. You don't have to use some kind of mammoth thing to make any of these things. I mean, and you could even do this by hand if you wanted to, right? It's not, you could just chop these ingredients really fine and make it a thicker, like more robust type of sauce. But for these purposes, I'm using this little bullet. It's easy. I bring this to the centers. I make this at the centers for people, especially people who are like, want, vegetables that taste a little better, something different. I've made like a ratatouille and thrown this into it. It's really great. So I'm doing quarter cup of parsley here and a half a cup of cilantro. So you're going to see a lot of cilantro here. This is a Brazilian, Argentinian sauce. They use it a lot in their cooking, and I'm making this on the more mild side today. So when we had talked about this last time, I talked about adding jalapeno to it. I'm not adding jalapeno to this, but you can when you're making it at home. I would, again, be careful, use gloves, but gauge the hotness of the jalapenos. Some jalapenos are hotter than others, and you don't want to blow your palate out of the water, but it just depends. Like I have people coming over for 4th of July, and they're not all from the Caribbean bunch, like don't all have a Caribbean ancestry like I do, or can take hotter foods. I can take very spicy foods, and everyone can. So I like to make this a little bit less spicy for them. So I won't be adding the jalapeno here, but parsley, cilantro, and I'm putting a shallot in. This is about half of it, the kind of like, I would say 3/4 of a shallot, because I cut it in half, but I definitely use the bigger half. I couldn't find fresh oregano in the couple stores I went to, so I'm just using a freeze-dried oregano, and that is fine for this recipe. I'm using about 2 tablespoons in there. Okay. And just because I'm not using the jalapeno, I'm throwing some red pepper in, just to give it a little bit more flavor, add a little bit of chunkiness to the sauce where the jalapeno is missing. And I'm putting red wine vinegar. Looking over here, that's a half a cup. I have my recipe on the side here, just to make sure I'm not forgetting everything, because last time I was like, what am I forgetting? And I forgot something. Don't want to do that. Okay, 3/4 of a cup. I'm eyeballing it. Excuse me. That's good. Now listen. This is an olive oil and vinegar based sauce. But if you don't want to use olive oil, you can do it without the olive oil. You can just make it a more tangy vinegar based sauce. But I like what the olive oil does. I'm going to cut up some eggplants, some shiitake mushroom, some red peppers, and I'm going to throw this into a big Ziploc bag with all of those ingredients, and I'm going to toss them on the grill, and it's going to be delicious. Anytime I do this, people are like, what did you put in this? This fresh herbs, some shallot, olive oil, red wine vinegar. That's it. Okay, so we're going to just give it a little spin. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're done. So easy. That was easier than going to the store, getting in your car, or walking to the store and going to get some Wishbone that isn't even really good for you. That was easier, right? Just get the ingredients, have the ingredients in the house, and then you have this. Oh my God, I can smell it. Ew. That's just a little bit of the condensation from the side. Smells so good. And then people think, well, you know, she's a chef, so that's why she makes this. You don't have to be a chef to make this. You saw what that took. That was easy peasy. And it smells so delicious. It's so herbaceous. It's this creamy texture. And it's delicious. So I'm going to just put this in here so you can see what it looks like when it comes out. Oh my God. It's delicious. I keep this in my fridge. I keep this in a jar similar to the one that I made that I soaked the cashews in. I keep it in there all the time. And when I want to use it, I take it out like half an hour before I'm going to use it, give it a little shake, and put it in anything. I sometimes make rice and I throw this in as I'm sauteing the dry rice in the bottom of the pan. I will add this to it. And then it just gives you like this herby, delicious rice. Any grain it would work for, any protein it would work for. I'm doing it for vegetables, but the world is your oyster. Okay, so really quickly, we're going to move to the next one. I don't want to take up too much of your time here talking about how great everything smells, but it does. It smells so great. Okay, I'm going to do a really quick salsa with you. Okay, so we're going to use the same. I can use the same little gizmo here, but what we're going to do is just use a smaller cup because I'm going to show you a small little amount of it. And I'm going to turn around. Sorry for my back. But this is all you need. Okay. I just made this the other day. We did a plant-based taco demo for our Starrett City adults members. And we did this salsa. And we had done this, comparing the nutrition labels on all these different salsas and dressings. We had done this whole work. And, lots of salsa. You can find salsa that's good. That has a lot of good ingredients in it. But then there is a lot of them out there that have preservatives and a lot of sugar. You don't need sugar in salsa. Don't need it. You don't even need oil in salsa. And a lot of these will have added oils. This is something that I find that you don't need an oil for at all. It's fresh tomatoes, multicolored little heirloom tomatoes, but you could use any grape tomatoes that you want. I like to use the grape variety, but you could use whatever tomato. It's red in season. If you get something from the farmer's market that's really calling to you and it's really beautiful, use it. It's so easy. You just put this in here. I am adding cilantro again. I'm a cilantro junkie. Hi, my name is Tanya Colazzo, and I have an issue with cilantro. I do. I love cilantro. I mean, I know some people... If this tastes like soap to you, I realize that for some people, you have that enzyme where this tastes like soap. Then use parsley or use basil. Parsley is a good, substitute. So I think that's about what I'm going to use. I am putting a piece of garlic in here again. One garlic. But if I was making this for me, just for me alone, like if I was going to sit in front of the TV with my chips and salsa, I'd probably put 2 things of garlic because I love it. I'm putting just some chopped up. I just did a very quick dice of this just because, you could just cut it in quarters and put it in here, but I'm not going to pulse this too long. So I don't want to have big pieces of onion in it. So I just cut like a small dice of this, and I'm throwing in some red pepper and the same thing. I'm not making this. Red pepper has a lot of water in it. So it will puree fast. And I don't want to have big pieces in it, but I don't want to have, I want it to be like in between. So I'm going to take some lime because I love it. I love lime and salsa. If you're making any kind of Mexican type food, you don't have to make Mexican food. You could put salsa on top of anything, right? You could put it on top of fish. You could put it on top of any vegetable you want. And for our purposes here, we're doing a plant-based, any kind of rice, grain, vegetable, you put it on top of anything. But just getting all the lime out of there. Nice amount of vitamin C. And now it's going to start smelling like Puerto Rico in here. I'm sorry, I lost track of my thought there for a minute. But you can, I like the way the lime is with this. It's with this salsa, it just gives it a really nice flavor. You can also add diced up mangoes to this that add like a nice sweetness. Little tip. You could serve this over an avocado. Just cut an avocado in half, put the salsa over it, maybe some, whole grain crackers, or just eat it like that. Love it. Put some cannellini beans on top just for a little protein. Love your life. Okay, I'm doing this whole lime. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of the zest because, you know, zest is best. Just a little bit. Just going to get, like, want to really get those oils. And like I told you last time, the flavors of the zest, there's no comparison. And it just really gives it that, I don't know what's in there, but it's so delicious. You know, it's always the most simple recipes that people say that about. Not these convoluted recipes where you're 100 things are in this recipe. It's always these simple recipes where people are like, what was that? What was in that? It was so good. It's because you're letting a few basic ingredients sing. You're letting these whole foods just do their job. You're getting the best ingredients, and there's a few of them, and people, it resonates for people because they can taste the lime. They can taste the herbs. And it, this is it's real food. And it just makes people happy. Simple food. Don't have to overly complicate it. So I do have some like residual chimichurri sauce on my blade, but it really doesn't matter because you're not going to even know because it's some of the same ingredients anyway. So I'm going to take this. That's it. Ding, 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 ding. That's it. Salsa. We've got salsa. Now, you can make this as thin as you want. You can also really puree the heck out of it and use it as a sofrito, if you will. You could add more peppers to it, onions, and make this a base where you add to different grains, pastas. In Puerto Rico, we make a similar type of sofrito where we put cilantro, red peppers, onions, garlic, and ricao, if you can find ricao, and we put all the stuff in there. Sometimes we put like the bonnet peppers as well, but we make this sauce. We puree it much finer than this, and we use it for everything. We use it as the base for everything. It is the magic to Puerto Rican cooking is sofrito. So I'm going to just give you my back for 10 more seconds. That wasn't even 10 seconds. And now you've got this salsa, this thick, delicious, fresh salsa. You have company, you just put this out. Matter of fact, I'm giving this to my company today. Look at this. It's gorgeous. It is beautiful. It is a whole plant-based, yummy, delicious salsa. Love your life. And just, that's it. You don't really need anything else. You can put this on everything. So here's 3 good sauces that you can use. And you can, you have chimichurri, you have your cheese, you have your salsa. You could use this in many different ways. Get creative with it. Share your recipes with us. Let us know how it went. I'm sure you'll come up with your own recipe that is yours, that you're putting your foot into it, if you will. So enjoy. Good luck on the rest of the challenge, and so glad we're doing it together. Bye. That's so good.